Get this. Good morning, and welcome to the 2024 Town of Winthrop Memorial Service. I'm going to introduce Phil Ronan right here, Town VSO. We've got many celebrities back here, councilmen, senators, and but I'm going to introduce here Michael Fuller from the Winthrop Lodge of Elks, 1078, is going to be the master of ceremonies today. Michael, welcome aboard.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Fuller. I'm the lead tonight, the Elks. I'd like to thank the police department, the chief, the fire department for being here today. The missile men who play the drums and do a fantastic job every year. Thanks, Steve. And now I'd like to introduce Richard Honan of the Memorial Day Committee.
If you'll all join with me and with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, Phil, come on up here. Phil, why don't you explain why you're here?
Good morning, everybody. As you know, or you may not, I'm the Veteran Service Officer for the town. I help veterans and their families navigate the VA system, healthcare benefits, etc. Today, I am here to read the proclamation from the governor. And assist Richard. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a proclamation, whereas while the nation was still recovering from the Civil War, people in cities and towns across the country gathered to honor the soldiers who had given their lives celebrating the first Decoration Day. And whereas after World War I, the nation came together again to honor those who had fallen in the service of their country. Renamed Memorial Day, the last Monday in May is when people remember and honor the memory of all men and women who fought and died in all American wars and conflicts. Whereas throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts residents have fought in wars and conflicts to defend our safety and way of life. And whereas their legacy of patriotism and dedication to country is an inspiration to all Americans. And whereas it is appropriate that all Massachusetts residents remember the bravery of those who gave their lives so that their sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. Now, therefore, I, Maura T. Healy, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 27th, 2024 to be Memorial Day, and urge all residents of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber in Boston this 27th day of May in the year of 2024 and of the independence of the United States of America 247th. It's signed by Maura Healy, Kimberly Driscoll, and Francis Gallivan. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. At this time, I would like to bring forth the commander of the American Legion, Steve White, to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Phil. Welcome, everyone. I'd just like to take a moment to honor an individual who I'm very proud to provide this citation to. Richard Honan, please step forward. American Legion Commander 146, Commander's Recognition for Veteran of the Year. Let it be known that all members of the American Legion Post 146 recognize and express gratitude to Richard Honan, Winthrop's American Legion Support the Troops Program Manager, United States Army, for his service to our community and its veterans. You, sir, have gone above and beyond the service of our community of veterans and active duty men and women over the past 20-plus years. Please take great pride in our mutual expression of job well done. Richard. Thank you. I think it's more appropriate that the next follower begin her contribution to this event. Thank you. Tina Marie.
Please sing with me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order, arm! Get at ease!
Michael.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Lydia Edwards, our state senator.
Good morning, everyone. In this special garb today, as many of you may have noticed, I commissioned into the United States Army on October 23rd, 2023. I'm now First Lieutenant. Thank you. I'm now First Lieutenant Edwards, and I'm a JAG officer where I do legal services for soldiers as they prepare them to go to war and when they return home from war. I do a lot of different things, but one of the things that is most impactful and emotional is when you sit down with a 19-year-old and talk about what he would like or what she would like in her will. That's part of their prep before they go. And we go through all of the things that they don't have usually at 19. The fact that they're living possibly still with their parents. And it shocked me, and it'll probably shock you, how excited these young people are to go serve their country. I was blown away by it. I took 2 days off from working at the state senate to go work and do this special assignment in Worcester. We had to prepare 300 people to go, to hear their stories, to know about their families, all the things on their minds. But not one of them was hesitant. Not one of them blinked an eye. Their country called and they were ready to go. Not only are they patriotic, but it was, to me, one of the most beautiful things to see that, they say a lot about that generation, but the kids are all right. But it still pains me to know that we have a recruitment issue, that unfortunately there's a negative connotation for those who join. Let me be a testament. You can never be too old. I'm 43, and too somewhat out of shape to say I'm rising to the occasion and I want to join. I want to serve my country. So if any of you are kind of thinking about it, do it. But today is a day to honor those who've already done it. And in many cases, they paid the ultimate sacrifice. And it's for them that we come together and we remember not only how hard they fought for this country, but in many cases they go nameless and die in foreign countries, and their families never know what happened to them. So it's important that we gather on these days, because we're not gathering just for individuals, we're gathering for all of them and any of them, regardless of where they came from, whatever their names were. You are here not just for those from Winthrop, you're here for anyone from this nation. I know you are, who died for this country. Recently, I had the opportunity to have a small brunch in honor of those who died for this country. We had people from Winthrop, Riviera, East Boston, and Chelsea come. And one of the things we asked them to do after we did the POW table was to submit the names of their loved ones that had died in the war in which they had served. I read those names then, and I'd like to quickly read those names now of those people. Leonard Montanino of the U.S. Marines, Harold Ryan, the Army, Paul Bartlett, Navy, George Kingston, Army, Joe Harrington, Army. World War II, Salvatore Battaglia, Army, Anthony Battaglia, Army, Mario Battaglia, Army, and Angelo Battaglia, Air Force. All brothers, all gone, World War II. John Willett, the Marines, Vincent Matera, Army, David Jacobs, Air Force, James Riley, Army, Mark Esperanza, Navy, Robert Garrett, Air Force, Anthony Fiore, Army, Mike Pagliarulo, Army, Joseph Ruggiero, Army, Richard and David Gray, Army, Robert Anderson, Army, Alan O'Brien, Army, Robert Gillen, Navy, Jerry Jacobson, Army, Captain Francis A. Powers, Vietnam, KIA, Army, John Casaletto, Army, Francis Materano, Army, Anthony Fiore, Army, Anthony Farah, Army, Vincent Loconti, Army, Pasquale Cianca, Army, Richard Hanley, Navy, Salvatore Cirondulo, Army, Joseph Scolastico, Army, Charles Gordana, Army, Leonard Rutledge, Army, Gerald Schulman, World War II, Selman Mangrum, Korean War, KIA, Bob Finley, Walter Schultz, Glenn Sewell, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Jerry Gleave, Operation Enduring Freedom. Many of these men died on the battlefield. Many of them had injuries that they took home with them and died here. All of them were from our district, all of them patriots, and I just wanted to say their name again. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to introduce the chaplain for the American Legion, David Kennedy, to say a prayer for all those who had fallen in defense of our country.
Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for all those, our comrades, who have laid down their lives in the service of our country. May the good work of seeking justice for the oppressed and peace for all mankind be rewarded with success. And may we never fail to remember the awesome cost of the freedom we enjoy. All this we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Next up, I'm going to call up our state representative, Jeffrey Turco, say a few words.
Thank you very much, Mr. Honan, and members of the organizing committee. I want to first begin by thanking the members of the Winthrop Police Department, the Winthrop Fire Department, the Boys and Girls Club that are here, Scouts that are here, our VFW for your service, and Senator/Lieutenant Edwards. As you can imagine, she's got a district that's 4 times the size what I have, and so she's on her way to East Boston, then to Chelsea and Revere, so that's why she had to scoot out. But I wanted to, we're here, the reason I thank people, because it's sort of an oxymoron. If you look at the history of Decoration Day, we're not here to celebrate soldiers today. We're here to celebrate those that died in the service of our country. And, you're going to hear Councilor Calla get up and read, former Councilor Calla get up and read General Logan's orders. And when you hear his orders, he talks about there's no formal ceremony. These ceremonies are meant to be organic. They're meant to be each community putting together a ceremony that they think is fitting to recognize those of our fellow neighbors that died in service of our country. And so you look at this event, and you can't help but thank the people that are here, the police, the fire, the VFW, the town leaders. I see my former colleague, Peter Gill down there. Peter, thank you. It's these people that have served our town for decades that said, we're going to go out and we're going to make sure we never forget. We always remember those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, because that's why Winthrop is such a special place. And when we come here and we think about, I got up this morning at like 5 o'clock, and first thing I do, I went online and look at what's going on in our crazy world. And one of the things that gives me hope is, while we're here yesterday, and I said this to the kids, we're here yesterday in Epinal, France, at the American Cemetery, where thousands of American soldiers died to liberate Europe. That cemetery, French citizens went out and decorated the graves of those American soldiers. All across Europe, tens of thousands of American soldiers died in the name of liberty and freeing a continent from tyranny. And they did it, they didn't go out to die. They went out because they believed in the values that America has. And I said this last year, and I think it's worth repeating. Our national anthem is unique of all the anthems in the world because it ends with a question mark. I challenge you, read our national anthem on paper, not just the words that we recite and rote memorization, but read it, and it ends with a question mark saying, will this land of the free and home of the brave, will we survive? And it's because young kids that grow up learning the value that is America, that learns the beauty that is America, that go out and say, I'm going to serve my country and not go out to die, but do what's necessary to keep this world safe. And last week, myself and about 15 of our colleagues went in the House of Representatives, went and toured the Auschwitz exhibit in Boston. And there's a video where they show the liberation of Auschwitz. and you see the look of pain on the face of the American soldier, and you say, this is what these people went to liberate. They went to free a world from viciousness and tyranny, and and so many, over 1.1 million American soldiers have died in combat. Think about that, 1.1 million. We have 20,000 people that live in our little town of Winthrop. 1.1 million have died in wars since this country was founded, so that we could come here and say, we will never forget, we will always remember. God bless you all. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words.
At this time, I'd like to introduce James Lettieri, the Council President.
Good morning on this slightly overcast Monday, 27th of May, 2024. On behalf of the Winthrop Town Council, I bring you greetings and thank you for once again attending this heartfelt event, honoring this solemn holiday. I would like to recognize my fellow councilors who are here with us, Vice President Belcher, Councilors DeMarco, Munson, and Swope. I'd also like to thank our town manager, Tony Marino, not only for his service to our town, but for his service to our country. In addition, I would like to thank Richard Honan and Phil Ronan, along with the entire Legion Post 146, who should be commended for the work they do to put this program together, as well as the work they do day in and day out to support our veterans. A special thanks to 95 years young U.S. pilot James Elwood for being our principal speaker, but much more importantly, for his incredible service and being a part of the greatest generation in American history. I'd like to also thank Representative Turco and Edwards, Senator Edwards, for their fierce support of our town and our veterans. Today we gather to honor the brave men and women who have sacrificed their lives in service to our country. Memorial Day is a time for reflection, gratitude, and remembrance. It is a solemn reminder of the cost of freedom and valor of those who have fought to preserve it. As we stand here surrounded by the symbols of our nation's history and freedom, I am reminded of the importance of American pride. This pride is not just a feeling. It is a recognition of the values and principles that have shaped our nation. It is a respect for the sacrifices made by our servicemen and women, and an acknowledgement of the shared responsibilities to uphold the freedoms they fought to protect. However, recent surveys have shown a troubling trend. Many college students seem disconnected from the sense of national pride that has traditionally been a cornerstone of our American identity. Only about 30% of students express strong patriotic feelings, often viewing patriotism with skepticism and questioning the relevance of traditional symbols of American pride. This disconnect is not just about numbers, it's about understanding and appreciating the values that unite us as a nation. It is about recognizing the sacrifices of those we honor today and realizing that American pride is not a blind allegiance, but a commitment to the principles of freedom, justice, and equality. As we honor the brave men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice, we must also recognize the ongoing challenges facing American veterans, including physical injuries, injuries with mental health, substance abuse, and difficulties transitioning into civilian life. Many veterans struggle with unemployment, homelessness, and accessing adequate health care, often facing bureaucratic hurdles for essential services. On this Memorial Day, let us commit to addressing these needs and ensuring our veterans receive the care, respect, and opportunity that they deserve. Let us commit to fostering a renewed sense of American pride. Let us educate our young people about the significance of Memorial Day and the importance of our shared history. Let us encourage open and respectful dialogue about what it means to be an American and the values we hold dear. On this Memorial Day, let us honor the memory of our fallen heroes by recommitting ourselves to these principles. Let us ensure that their sacrifices were not in vain by nurturing a sense of pride and responsibility in the next generation. And let us remember that the true measure of American pride is not in words or symbols, but in our actions and our commitment to the values that define us. Thank you, and may we always remember and honor the sacrifices of those who have given their lives for our freedom. May we strive to live up to their legacy with pride, respect, and a renewed sense of national unity. God bless our town, and God bless America. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to introduce former Town Council member Linda Caller. She is going to read General Logan's order.
Good morning. I'm proud to read this proclamation. That's why we are all gathered here today. General John A. Logan's Memorial Day Order. Headquarters of the Grand Army of the Republic, General Orders Number 11, Washington, D.C., May 5th, 1868. The 30th day of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. In this observation, no form of ceremony is prescribed, but post and comrades will, in their own way, arrange such fitting services and testimonials of respect as circumstances may permit. We are organized comrades, as our regulations tell us, for the purpose, among other things, of preserving and strengthening those kind and fraternal feelings which have bound together the soldiers, sailors, and Marines who have united to suppress the late rebellion. What can aid more to assure this result than cherishing tenderly the memory of our heroic dead, who made their breasts a barricade between our country and its foes? Their soldiers' lives were the reveille of freedom to a race in chains, and their deaths the tattoo of rebellious tyranny in arms. All that the consecrated wealth and taste of the nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of her slain defenders. Let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism of avarice or neglect, no ravages of time testify to the present or to the coming generation that we have forgot as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. If other eyes grow dull, other hands slack, and other hearts cold in the solemn trust, ours shall keep it well as long as the light and warmth of life remain to us. Let us then, at the time appointed, gather around their sacred remains and garland the passionless mounds above them with the choicest flowers of springtime. Let us raise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us in the solemn presence renew our pledges to aid and assist those who they have left among us a sacred charge upon a nation's gratitude, the soldiers and sailors, widow and orphan. It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief to inaugurate this observance with the hope that it will be kept up from year to year while a survivor of the war remains to honor the memory of his departed comrades. He earnestly desires the public press to lend its friendly aid in bringing to the notice of comrades in all parts of the country in time for simultaneous compliance therewith. Department commanders will use efforts to make this order effective. This is by order of John A. Logan, Commander-in-Chief, N.P. Chipman, Adjutant General. And I just would like to add, for all the men and women that are currently fighting for us, God bless, be safe, come home soon. Thank you.
Gives me great honor now to introduce our principal speaker. You know, a couple of years ago we had Lorraine Farmer, who was 92 years old, U.S. Marine. Last year we gave a special recognition to Richard Minicello, flew over, I think, the mountains of India and Burma, World War II, 102 years old. Somebody complained and said, can we get some young people? So this year we have James Aylwood. He's 95. James is a U.S. Navy fighter pilot, flew off of aircraft carriers. Did you land on them too?
I had to. No other choice. If I didn't land on them, I would have gotten wet.
Deep breath, look out. Two people. All right. I'm right here. Keep close to the microphone. I want people to hear you.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here as we pay our respect to those who did not make it home. I was raised in a home where a framed certificate of citizenship was prominently displayed. It was in my mother's name. It was hanging on the dining room wall so anybody coming into our home would be certain to see it, because she was very proud to be an American, and she raised us to be aware of the fact that we should be proud to be an American. When World War II started, I was 11 years old, and I have vivid memories of those days. It seems that all of my friends had older brothers, such as I did, and I remember how my world expanded. Those older brothers became heroes overnight as they put on uniforms and were sent to places that I had never heard of. I was overwhelmed by having an extended family, since they were protecting me and I didn't even know them. My brother joined the Navy and was sent to the Pacific, where he served on a PT boat. He came home with scars on his body that he didn't have when he left. And he left 2 PT boats at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean with a couple of his crew members on them, but he made it home. I've lived in town for 40 years now and have fallen in love with the memorial display outside Town Hall, and I think often of the ones that are not listed there. I think back 248 years ago, when the Declaration of Independence was published, and I think of the Winthrop men now. I have to speculate because I don't know, was it 2 or was it 22? How many of them left to catch up with George Washington and go all the way to 5 years? How many of them came back home to Winthrop? And how many of them were buried in foreign countries like Pennsylvania or Maryland or Virginia? I went to Pensacola in 1951, and I completed my training in 1953. I came back to Boston for 1 month of leave before I reported to my squadron. And while home, my friend's mother, she gave me her son's Navy wings. He had lost his life carrier landings in the Korean War, and I pinned him to my chest, and very proud to have pinned him to my chest. But then I went down to Oceana, Virginia, and reported to my squadron, and I couldn't believe it. I just learned how to use a razor blade And I walk into this squadron, I'm surrounded by pilots that were fighting the Japanese Zero in World War II, and the MiG and the Yak up in North Korea. And they welcomed me on board. They were very kind to me, and they assimilated me into the squadron. And we were flying the first Navy jet fighter. It was a Panther. And it was a very new way of doing things, and it was a very interesting experience flying a jet aircraft. And then we upgraded to the Cougar, which was a swept-wing aircraft, and it was capable of breaking the sound barrier, so that brought in a whole new sense of flying. And I finished my tour in the Navy on aircraft carriers going around the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. And when my time was up, I came home, but to this day, I have embedded in my brain the inscription that's etched in stone outside Town Hall. And I really have that etched in my brain. It says, "For your tomorrow, we gave our today, and may God bless all of those men and women."
At this time, I'd like to introduce Tina Marie Talvey for America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
At this time, I'd like to introduce the Winthrop Emblem Club and our lodge officers to my left, and setting of the ceremonial wreath, please.
Great job, ladies. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming out all the time for every event, supporting all our veterans, past, present, and future. Now I'm going to read a roll call of conflicts, wars that our country has been involved in, unfortunately, in which we've lost many of the people that we are honoring here today on Memorial Day. the Revolutionary War, the American Indian Wars, the War of 1812, the Apache Wars, the Mexican-American War, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, Iraq and Afghanistan wars, and the ongoing war against terrorism. At this time, I would like to turn it over to the Commander of the Honor Guard, Al Bell, and his detail.
Before I talk about the next person, the Elks is having free sandwiches after the ceremony today. No free drinks, but free sandwiches if you want to come down. I'd like to introduce Tina Marie Sally.
Please sing with me. God bless America, lands that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I want to thank you all for coming here today, but I also want to remind you of something new that we're going to be doing in the fall on Veterans Day. We're going to be dedicating a brand new monument here in Winthrop, which will honor all of those women, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, who have served in the U.S. military. Phil, maybe you could just tell a little bit about it?
So this, we all feel, people that have served in the past, some of the exploits and heroics of women have not been recognized. So the idea came forth to the Memorial Committee, which I chair months back, that we should honor all the women that, you know, broke ground, and we've got some terrific women veterans here in the crowd. I'd like to especially recognize Lorraine Farmer. Lorraine is she paved the way. There's Lorraine standing in the back. She's a very spry 90-ish, I think. I don't know. And, you know, we really needed to do something because, you know what? Women are breaking ground in this country. They're becoming future leaders in, you know, politics, in the military, in all ways of life, police force, fire force. We just thought it was very, very important for all of us to honor their exploits, past, present, and future. So what we're going to do on Veterans Day, we'll have the ceremony, like always, at 11 o'clock on the 11th day in the 11th month, and then when we're done at Town Hall Green, we will move down to the E.B. Newton, and that monument will be dedicated under the flagpole there, and that happens to be where my office is if anybody needs help. So we hope that we get the same type of participation from our citizens to come out and honor us with your presence. Believe me, we really, really appreciate all your support.
So once again, thank you all for coming, and that's the end of our service. And remember that what Michael Fuller said, the Elks will be having a luncheon following the service here today. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.